So I've just finished my uni exams and I'm kind of bored. Like, I don't really know what to do next. So I decided to just give Enstars characters some Pokemon teams because I love Enstars and I also really love Pokemon, so why not? So you can see this is a PowerPoint slide because I made a PowerPoint. I think it's also a good time to admit that not all of the characters have teams in this video, and that's because I genuinely could not come up with one for everyone. I tried, I really did, but I just couldn't figure out what to give certain characters because I guess I just don't know all of the characters that well after all. So, sorry to all the Trickstar Ps and to everyone else who really likes characters who are also left out, but maybe you can have a go yourself in the comments and do what I couldn't do. So, yeah, also there's a lot of Pokemon that appear for multiple characters because they just fit multiple characters, you know, vibes. This is all based on vibes. So, yeah, let's just start. So, let's just go to Fine. I'm skipping Trickstar completely. I'm really sorry. I just could not come up with anything for Trickstar because I just don't follow Trickstar, okay? So, let's start with Eichi, and I actually thought it would be really funny to just give him a bunch of pseudo-legendaries, which are basically, like, really powerful Pokemon that aren't legendaries, in a way, if you don't know. So I gave him just a bunch of pseudo-legendaries. A lot of them are also, like, the ace of champions. So we've got Metagross for Steven, and we've got Garchomp for Cynthia. And I also just gave him Goodra and Komodo because they're dragon types, and they're also pseudo-legendaries, and also Tyranitar. I gave him a red Gyarados, or a shiny Gyarados. I know Gyarados isn't a pseudo-legendary, but it's just one of those Pokemon that are, like, you know, it's very sought after, it's very revered in a way. And I feel like out of every character, Eichi would be the one to have one. He's just, like, OP in a way. Like, in the games, he would be just an absolute troll, you know? It's like how you can walk into a random house I've never played Gen 4, but I know in, like, Gen 4, or is it Gen 5, I don't know, but you just randomly walk into a house and then you get jumped by Cynthia randomly. Like, if it was a game, Eichi would be that one character to just randomly jump you with a team of pseudo-legendaries. In the anime, he would be that character who just randomly pulls up with a legendary, like that, what's his name, Tobias or something, who showed up with the Darkrai, or that one guy who showed up with all 3 Reggies. Like, he's just that type of guy. He'd probably just show up to the championships with Ho-Oh or something. You know, he's just ridiculously OP. I mean, he's that character. He's a bit of a troll. So, yeah, that's Eichi's team. If you couldn't tell, there's no script for this video, that's why it's all over the place. I just didn't think it needed a script, you know? Like, I have my reasons for choosing certain Pokemon, and I should be able to articulate them without it being written down, you know? So anyway, let's move on to Wataru's team, and obviously it's the first one that I came up with because he's my favourite character. So let's start. So I gave him a female Unpheasant, specifically because they're pigeons. I mean, they're basically pigeons. They evolved from, like, Pidove, and Pidov's a pigeon, and it's the closest thing we have to a dove Pokemon. And Unpheasant's a female because Jan Dark is a girl, which is Wataru's, like, main pet dove, so, you know, it fits. I gave him a Mr. Rhyme, and I absolutely hate the Mr. Mime line. Like, they're so ugly, I hate them so much. But, like, it just fits. Wobbuffet is the perfect comic relief Pokemon, and, like, Wataru has to have a comic relief Pokemon, like, come on. I gave him a Meowscarada because it's a magician cat, and it's also a grass type, so we've got the flower element, you know, he likes to scatter roses everywhere, and Meowscarada can do that. Also, Wataru's a magician, Meowscarada is literally a magician, you know, it just fits. Togekiss is purely based on vibes, and the same goes for Ultara as well, but, like, they're also birds, or flying types. I don't really know what Togekiss is, but it's a flying type. And Wataru definitely should, like, specialise in flying types, so yeah, that's it. I gave Tori just fairy types because they're pink and he's pink, but I gave him some, like, not exactly cute ones because I feel like if someone does try and call his Pokemon ugly, like he would get really upset. And I don't know, I just think it would be funny. So I gave him a Granbull as his lead for that reason. I also gave him Mawile and Tinkaton because, like, I guess they're cute, but they're also, like, scary, you know. Slurpuff, I gave him a Slurpuff specifically so he has something to fight with Tsukasa over, because if you'll see it later, but I also gave Tsukasa a Slurpuff, so my idea behind that was that they'd just fight over whose is cuter, so that's it. And also Wigglytuff and Ribbonbee for, I don't know, I just thought they'd fit Tori, you know. For Yuzuru, I gave him 2 Indeedies. I gave him both the male and female version because, like, they're a butler and a maid, depending on, like, which version you have. And Yuzuru is also a butler, so it fits. Ordino, I don't know. I guess it kind of has servant vibes. Like, I wanted to give him Pokemon with servant vibes because he is a servant, primarily. So there's that. Zangoose is not a servant type Pokemon, but I gave him a Zangoose because I gave Ibara a Seviper, and the whole thing with Zangoose and Seviper is that they absolutely despise each other. It's like a hereditary beef that both species of Pokemon have against each other, so I thought it would be really funny. It's like he has a Zangoose just because Ibara has a Seviper, so they can scrap over that. I gave him a Chinchino because they're known for being, like, very clean. They like to keep things clean. And I thought that was very servant-like. And also a Gallade because I think Yuzuru does need at least some form of combat Pokemon. And Gallade is a very noble kind of Pokemon, so I guess it fits. So let's move on to Ryusutai. And Ryusutai was kind of easy for me because I just thought that they all should specialise in a specific type. So we'll start with Tetora, and I kind of wanted him to specialise in dark types because he's Ryusei Black, but I ended up giving him more, like, fighting types, which also fits, you know? So I gave him an Incineroar because, like, it's a tiger and, you know, his solo is called Ironheart Tiger, and it's a dark type, I guess, so it fits. And they're also kind of doing the same pose in these pictures, so I thought that was quite funny. Machamp Lucario, Grapploct. I hate Grapploct so much. I think it's atrocious, but I thought it fit. I like the other two though, but I just thought they'd fit, you know. Sork because, you know, martial arts, and Tetora is in the, is it a karate club? I don't even know what club it is. It's the martial arts club, you know. And I gave him a Scrafty because it's specifically a dark fighting type, and that's the vibe I wanted to give Tetora, but as you can see, it didn't really work out, did it? For Chiaki, I wanted to go with some really, like, heroic Pokemon, because being a hero is kind of his whole thing. And also he specialises in fire types, because he's Ryusei Red. And his whole powers in, like, the Ryusutai lore are around fire and stuff. So I gave him an Infernape, because I thought he really did need one of those firefighting starters. And Infernape is the most heroic out of them all. I don't really like the Infernape line. Like, I'm more of a Blaziken girl. Like, Blaziken is my favourite Pokemon. But I thought Infernape fits. Same with Darmanitan. I also hate this Pokemon with a passion, but again, it just suits Chiaki for some reason. Arcanine is a very, like, heroic kind of Pokemon, you know. And same with Armarouge. And Hawlucha as well. It's one of them, like, it's based on one of those, like, Latin American wrestlers, apparently. And also in the anime, it was kind of like the hero of the forest or whatever it was. I don't know. And Talonflame is also a firebird. It's just vibes for Chiaki, honestly. Like, I don't really know what else to say, but, you know, heroic fire type Pokemons. Woohoo, yay, let's move on. Kanata is just fish. I just gave him a bunch of fish. Primarina, it's not a fish, it's a seal, but it's a mermaid seal, you know. Also, it just fits. Dondozo and Tatsugiri are kind of like a 2-in-1. Like, you can't really have one without the other because it's like a symbiotic relationship, apparently, in the lore. So, I don't know, I also just thought it fits, you know. Dondozo is kind of like a massive catfish, and Tatsugiri is based on sushi, and Kanata loves fish as animals, but he also likes eating fish. Hopefully he doesn't eat his own Pokemon, but, you know. I gave him a Wailord because you know, Kanata's like the god of the sea or something in Enstars, and Wailord is like the king of the Pokemon Ocean because it's a massive whale, so it fits. Milotic is also really pretty and it fits him. Quagsire is also, I guess, I don't really know what Quagsire is. It's not really a fish, is it? But Quagsire is known for being kind of slow, and Kanata's also not exactly a very speedy person. And, you know, maybe they can just float in the fountain together or something. So that's that. It's literally just fish. So, yeah, it was quite easy. For Midori, I also just gave him plants, so his team is grass types because his family owns a vegetable shop. So yeah, I thought it was pretty easy. Arboliva, like, it's olives and, you know, it's a vegetable. And honestly, Arboliva is such a diva. I mean, look at it, look at that face. But yeah, I also gave him a Lilligant because it's a flower, but she's also very pretty, you know. Sarina, I had quite a bit of fun with Sarina because I thought that out of all of the characters, Midori has to have a Pokemon that absolutely terrifies him. So like, Sarina initially evolves from Bounsweet, which is this really cute little berry kind of Pokemon, and Midori definitely likes like the cute ones, so he probably just like got a Bounsweet because it's cute, it's small, you know, and then it evolves into this absolute girl boss, and Sarina's low-key kind of terrifying. Like, I love her, she's an absolute queen and a diva, but like, I feel like Midori would be terrified of her low-key. I gave him a Simisage. Like, I'm not really a fan of the elemental monkeys, but I started realising that Simipour is also quite cunty in terms of Pokemon standards. But this isn't Simipour, this is Simisage. But it's a grass monkey, what more could you want? I gave him a Leafeon because, I don't know, it's a plant. Same with Vileplume, so yeah, it's just plants. For Shinobu, I originally wanted to give him like a full-on electric type team, but then I realised that there are ninja Pokemon out there. So I gave him a Greninja, and Greninja is weak to electric types because it's a water type, but it's the perfect Pokemon for Shinobu because it's a ninja, and also Shinobu has pet frogs, and Greninja is literally a frog ninja, so like, what more could you want? It's perfect. The same thing kind of goes for Ninjask and Shedinja, like they're ninja bugs. And they're also, like, they come together. Like, if you have a spare slot in your party, when Nincada evolves, like, you get Shedinja alongside Ninjask. So I think that's pretty cool, and Shinobu would definitely be that person to have both, so yeah. And then the other three Pokemon are electric types, and I gave him the Chew Pokemon, the Pikachu clones, and the evolution of Pikachu. So I gave him a Raichu and a Pachirisu and an Emolga for that specific reason. They're fast electric types, and they're not too big as well. Shinobu should probably have smaller Pokemon, so, you know, it fits. I was kind of debating whether I should do all of Alkaloid or just Mayoi because I really struggled with Alkaloid. But I managed to actually put something together for all of them, so, you know, feel free to correct me on this and just like make your own teams for Alkaloid because it's atrocious, but hear me out. So Hiiro, I tried to give fire fighting types. So I gave him Hitmonchan because of that one card when he's like throwing hands in like the dojo. I said why I gave him Phalanx or Heracross or Arcanine or any of them actually. Like, I just thought they'd fit. Blaziken's there because I've already said that Blaziken is my favourite Pokemon, and I felt like someone had to have a Blaziken because I couldn't make a Pokemon video without mentioning Blaziken at least once. So Blaziken's here. Again, I don't know why I chose any of these Pokemon, but yeah. It's not very good, is it? Aira's team is even worse. Oh my god. So I don't know why Mothim's there. I thought he should just have some like cutesy Pokemon, and I guess Mothim is kinda cute. Yeah, it's not very good, is it? Same with Gastrodon and Meganium. But the other three, I actually came up with something. Yeah, it's not good, but I actually came up with some reasons. So Aira's whole thing is collecting like idol merch. You know, he loves idol merch. So I thought that Comfey, he could wear his Comfey as like a headband when he goes to concerts. It's a really terrible idea, but you know, I had to do something. Klefki could just be used to like hold all of his idol keychains. I don't know. I gave him the Pom Pom Oricorio because it's like a fang. It's a cheerleader, but it gives off fangirl vibes, and you know, it just fits. And also, it's yellow. yeah, this is probably like the worst team I've come up with. Like, I mean, at least I came up with something for Aira, unlike Trickstar. Jesus Christ. I'm really sorry to all the Trickstar piece, but God's sake, I couldn't come up with anything. I don't know whose is worse out of Aira or Tatsumi. God's sake. I don't know why I gave him half of these Pokemon. I guess Drampa kind of fits. Like, they're kind of the same colour, and Drampa's like, it's actually kind of a gentle Pokemon. Wishy-washy. Okay. Because Tatsumi's a Christian, I put my A level in Christianity to good use here. Because, like, in Christianity, like, Jesus tells, like, his disciples to become, like, fishermen of men. And Wishy-Washy's whole thing is that, like, when you send it into battle, like, a bunch of them swarm together to create, like, the big battle form. And I don't know why, I just thought it fit. I thought it was a Christianity kind of thing, you know. Mousehold, because it's a family. Swordsback is just I don't know, it's kind of graceful. I just thought it would fit. And Unpheasant, again, kind of like why I gave one to Wataru. Like, it's the closest thing we have to a dove, I guess. And I know Swan is a swan, but it's a white bird, and doves are white. I don't know. This is terrible. I don't know why I made this video. God's sake. Moving on. Right, Mayoi is the only character in Alkaloid that I actually know quite a bit about. Like, he's my 4th favourite character, so I thought I had to at least give him a team. So, Mayoi really likes small, cute things. It's kind of his whole thing. So, I thought he should have a Mimikyu, because it's small and cute. And I thought he should specialise in, like, kind of creepy Pokemon or, like, ghost types, and maybe a couple of fairy types because they're small and cute. I gave him a Sableye because, like, they both have jagged teeth, but also, like, Sableye's kind of cute. Trevenant because it evolves from Phantump, and Phantump is this, it's meant to be a dead child. That's really grim, but, like, if you look into, like, the Pokedexes of a lot of Pokemon, like, they're low-key kind of morbid. So, yeah, Mayoi would really think that Phantump is adorable, and then it evolves into Trevenant. So, you know, Aromatisse, again, it's a fairy type, and it's pink. But it kind of has, it's based off a Plague Doctor's mask, and, you know, it's low-key kind of scary, and it fits Mayoi. Dragapult is also one of my favourite Pokemon, and I thought Mayoi should have one because, number 1, it's a ghost type, but number 2, it evolves from Dreepy, and Dreepy is known for being very weak until it evolves at level 50 into a Dracloak. Then you can actually start using it properly in battle. So Dreepy is really cute, and Mayoi would really dote on Dreepy. Grimstyle is also, it's a dark fairy type, and I thought it would fit. I mean, they have the same hair, like the colour of their hair is kind of the same as well, so why not, it fits. Now that I've finished Star Pro minus Trickstar, I think it might be a nice time to ask you guys to like and subscribe. I feel like I should start putting that in the middle of my videos now. Yeah, if you like this video, or even if you don't, maybe drop a like or something. Anyway, let's move on to Cospro, and Nagisa was actually quite easy, because he likes fossils, so rock types are a must, but also he gives off Dragon Trainer vibes, so dragon types as well. I gave him Tyrantrum because it's a rock dragon type, like that's great, and also it's a T-Rex, it's like the king of the dinosaurs. And again, Nagisa really likes fossils. The same goes for Aurorus. Aurorus is my favourite fossil Pokemon. It's just beautiful, and Nagisa is also a very beautiful man, so it fits. Armaldo looks really goofy, and Nagisa will definitely have some sort of silly looking Pokemon, like he likes silly things. Shuckle as well, I don't know what Shuckle is meant to be, but it's really silly, so I thought he'd have it. Carbink is just a cute rock. That's it. Dragonite is because of its previous evolutions in Dratini and Dragonair. They just really suit Nagisa, like they have the same vibes. So, and also Dragonite's a really cute dragon, and Nagisa would really like a cute dragon, so that's that. I gave Ibara snakes because his whole thing is being a snake. I think he's meant to be like the snake in the Garden of Eden or something. So I gave him Arbok, Seviper and Sandaconda, and Serperior because they're all snakes. Also Seviper because Yuzuru has a Zangoose and they scrap a lot. But obviously there aren't really enough snake types to make a whole like team of just snakes. So I gave him Salazzle because it's also a reptile, and Ibara should specialise in poison types. And just look at Salazzle, it's really cunty. I love Salazzle. And I also gave him a Scolipede, number 1 because it's a poison type, and number 2 it's magenta, and Ibara is also magenta, so they're the same colour. So yeah, it was pretty easy for Ibara, like I didn't spend long on this one at all, unlike some of the others. Hiyori has divas in his team, like his vibe is similar to Arashi in terms of the teams I assigned them, but they're kind of different. I wanted to give Hiyori more dogs rather than cats, but there's only one dog in his team, which is Ninetales, because it's pretty, look at it. Florges, Gardevoir, Beautifly and Sarina are also just divas. I thought he'd have them, so there's that. Espeon is a cat, so it's not a dog, but it's literally the sun Pokemon, and Hiyori is the Enstars son. Like, I feel like he's kind of like the Teletubbies baby son in a way. Don't ask why. He is. But yeah, that's it. I was considering giving him a Sunflora and Solrock because they're also like suns. I mean, Sunflora is a sunflower but has sun in the name. But I just thought they were too bland for Hiyori. Like, they don't really have that diva essence in them. So yeah, I didn't give him those. June gives off Dark Trainer vibes. I gave him a lot of dogs because we have to incorporate Bloody Mary in there somehow. I know he's meant to be like a hyena, but there isn't really a hyena Pokemon. I mean, Mightyena is the closest we have, but it doesn't really give off hyena to me. It gives off dog. So yeah, Mightyena's there. And I gave him Umbreon to go with Hiyori's Espeon. And yeah, it's just dark types. Weavile's cool, and they kind of give off the same vibe. All of them are low-key kind of cool, so they all fit June. I don't really have anything else to say other than he's got, like, kind of cool dark types, and yeah, that's basically it. Valkyrie next, and Shu is also a character with diva Pokemon. I gave him a pink Jellicent because I gave Mika a blue one. I feel like both of them have like dull vibes, like they need Pokemon with dull vibes, and Jellicent and Frillish, which is the pre-evolution form, like they give off dulls. I also decided to give Shu more like feminine Pokemon, so there's Gothitelle. Gothitelle's a diva, and you know, they just fit. It just fits Shu. So I also said that like if there are like alternative forms depending on the gender of the Pokemon, Shu always has the female version, hence why the pink Jellicent, and also female Meowstic. Also Frostlass, because Frostlass only evolves from a female Snorunt, so it fits. I gave him Leavanny because Leavanny's whole thing is that it kind of like makes clothes out of leaves, and Shu makes clothes as well. And I gave him a Furfrou because it's French, like it's the dog from the French region. Also its whole gimmick is that you can take it to the salon and give it a haircut, and Shu would love I think it's called the debutante form, when it's got like one of them like fancy hats. I feel like he'd like it, okay? So that's Shu's team. As for Mika, I gave him more ghost types because he has that vibe. Bayonets was the perfect Pokemon for him because it's a ghost type, and it's literally a haunted doll. I mean, what more do you want? Chandelure as well, it's more gothic, and I think Mika should have more gothic Pokemon. Drifblim is kind of fabricy in a way. Jellicent is to match Shu's, I guess. I gave him the blue one because Shu has the pink one. I gave Mika a Mimikyu as well, because it's a haunted doll. It's not a haunted doll, is it? I mean, it's a disguise, but hey. And Poltegeist as well, because I just thought it would fit. Yeah, that's it. Right, so Hinata and Yuta, I decided to give them the Pokemon that come in duos. So Hinata has a Plusle. He has all the red ones, right? So I gave him Plusle, Volbeat, and Solrock because they all have like a pair. Also, Hoenn has a lot of, like, they're all Gen 3 Pokemon. Like, most of these are Gen 3 Pokemon because for some reason Hoenn really liked its counterparts Pokemon. I gave him Beautifly because Wurmple has 2 evolutions that are kind of, like, randomly generated. So I feel like Beautifly is the more Hinata Pokemon. I gave Hinata and Yuta Toxtricities because they have 2 different forms. And Hinata has the yellow one because it's a warmer colour. And I thought that 2 Ink should have a Pokemon that's different from the other, like, you know, they don't have a counterpart. They're just unique. So I gave him Heliolisk. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say. But as for Yuta, I gave him Minun, Illumise, and Lunatone because they're the direct counterparts. Also Dustox because it's the other evolved form of Wurmple. And the blue Toxtricity. And for his unique Pokemon, I gave him a Bellibolt because I thought it fits. Rinne, I just gave him, like, money Pokemon. I was trying to do that so I gave him Goldengo and Persian. But the thing is, there's only 2 that actually give off money vibes. So I was like, okay, but I can't really make a full team out of this, can I? But then I realised he's the leader of Crazy Bee. So I should just give him bees. So Beedrill and Vespiquen. I mean, I know Vespiquen's like a wasp, but it evolves from Cone Bee, and that's got bee in the name, so it fits. Toxicroak suits him, in my opinion, because he needs an evil team Pokemon, because he's kind of like the villain in the first part of the main story for the second game. So, you know, why not? And I gave him Galissopod because Galissopod is Guzma's ace Pokemon in Sun and Moon, and Rinne has the same vibes as Guzma, so why not, you know? I have to give him something. Niki just has food Pokemon, and that's literally it. I mean, Appleton is an apple pie, Alcremie is cream, Vanillux is an ice cream, Tropius is a banana plant, Daxbun is bread, and I gave him a Snorlax because it eats a lot, and, you know, it could be Niki's primary food taster or something. That's basically it. As you can see, for the other 2 members of Crazy Bee, I had absolutely no idea what to give them, but, like, it's better than nothing. Tried to give HiMERU more, like, mysterious Pokemon, but I was really stuck, and I don't know why I gave him half of these. Claydol was probably the worst offender. Like, I have no idea why I gave him a Claydol, but I guess it kind of fits. Zoroark's whole thing is that it, like, creates an illusion that it's a different Pokemon, and HiMERU's kind of got that thing going on with, like, the identity fraud and all of that. Starmie is literally known as the mysterious Pokemon, so it fits. And again, Simipour is it's cunty, and it's blue, and it's basically HiMERU, so yeah. As for Kohaku, I was clutching at straws for this one. I tried to give him Pokemon that had, like, an assassin kind of vibe, because he's an assassin, but it didn't really work out. So he's got a Ceruledge, a Shiftry, a Lokix, a Lurantis, an Ariados, and a Drapion. That's his team, don't question me on it. I have absolutely no idea why I gave him these Pokemon. I guess Lurantis is pink, so that's kind of why, but yeah, we're just going to move on because this is absolutely terrible. Ray has bat Pokemon. That's it. So Crobat and Swoobat because they're just bats. Noivern because he needs... Is Noivern even a pseudo-legendary? I don't actually think it is, but, like, it's a big bat. Yeah. Hydreigon is a pseudo-legendary, I am pretty sure. And it has Ray in its name. I just thought it would fit him because it's a dark type, and Loki, it's kind of sinister. So yeah. Absol is majestic, and he needs at least one pretty Pokemon. And Manimar's just kind of weird, so I guess it suits him. He's the leader of the 5 eccentrics, you know, he needs a weird Pokemon. As for Kaoru, I decided to give him a mix of cool and cute Pokemon because maybe he gets some cute Pokemon to try and attract girls, but he also just really likes them. I gave him a preference for water types because he likes surfing. So for the surfing reason, I gave him a Mantine because you can surf on its back in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and also an Alolan Raichu because it surfs. So for his cute Pokemon, I gave him a Love Disc. And also a Vaporeon. Maybe he can go surfing with his Vaporeon, like how people surf with their dogs sometimes. I also gave him a Pelipper because it gives beach vibes. And he needs at least one, like, intimidating Pokemon because he's part of Undead. So I gave him Crocodile. Koga just has dogs. Bolton is the most important one because it evolves from Yamper, and Yamper is a Corgi, and Koga's dog Leon is also a Corgi, so it fits. And all of the others are literally just dogs. I mean, Mabostiff, Houndoom, and Mightyena are dark types, so it fits Undead. Yeah, it's just dogs. Adonis has more substance behind his team. I actually quite enjoyed Adonis's team because I thought it would be really funny. So his whole thing is that he's like big and strong, so I gave him big and strong Pokemon, but his whole thing as well is also that he really wants to protect like weak things, like small, cute and weak things, so I also gave him some like cutesy Pokemon. So Beware, it evolves from Stuffle, and Stuffle is really cute. And I guess it's not really like known for being strong, even though Beware is an absolute unit. So maybe Adonis he catches a Stuffle and is like, oh, it's really cute, and then it evolves into Beware. Pangoro is, I know you need a dark type in your team in order to get Pangoro, but maybe because the rest of Undead has a bunch of dark types, it just evolves like that. I don't know. The same goes for Nidoking. It's not a dark type, but like it just fits Adonis, and Aggron is also massive, so there's that. I originally gave Adonis a Nidoqueen as well, thinking that he could get an egg from Nidoking and Nidoqueen, because Adonis gives off the vibes of that one character in the anime who gets an egg in like every season. Like in every Pokemon series, there's one character that gets an egg, and that would be Adonis. But the thing is, you can't actually breed Nidoking and Nidoqueen, so I scrapped that idea. So I actually ended up giving him a Blissey, because maybe he can get a Happiny egg like Brock did, and that's his token egg Pokemon. And I gave him a Dedenne because he does just need one small cute Pokemon in his team to really like sell that image of him. So Dedenne it is. I kind of struggled with like a bit of a Katsuki. Since Keito has a temple, I gave him some like spiritual kind of Pokemon who give off temple vibes. I feel like he would have like Pokemon that aren't exactly problematic, because this man deals with enough stress as it is, and the last thing he needs is for his own Pokemon to stress him out. I gave him a Chimecho because, I mean, Chimecho soothes James in the anime, and you know, it's kind of a temple kind of Pokemon, so it fits Keito. The same goes for Medicham, like it's I don't know, it gives us spiritual vibes. But the thing with Keito is that he's apparently scared of big animals, so I made sure that all of his Pokemon are smaller than he is. And Medicham and Decidueye are both smaller, so it's okay. I gave him Decidueye because it's an archer and Keito does archery. Smeagol, I gave him a Smeagol because, you know, Keito, he's an author, so Smeagol could probably like draw pictures for his manga. Sinistra because like, I don't know, it's matcha, and you know, like in Japan, like I'm not sure if it's like a temple thing, but like they make tea. Orbital because it's smart and Keito's smart. So yeah. Right, we'll move on. Kuro should have tough Pokemon because he was the karate club leader. He should just have fighting types. So yeah, Hariyama, because it's like a dojo kind of Pokemon. I gave him a throat, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it matches Tetora's Sork, and also it's red. Hitmonlee as well, because I gave Hiiro Hitmonchan. Conkeldurr is actually one of my least favourite Pokemon. I hate it so much, but it just fits Kuro for some reason. Pangoro is like a delinquent Pokemon, and Kuro's archetype is a delinquent, so it fits. I thought that it would be a really good idea for him to have at least one, like, slightly girly Pokemon. Like, maybe he could be raising it for his sister. I don't know. He's the type of guy to do that. Like how in the anime, what's his name? Clement, like, catches Pokemon for Bonnie. So maybe he could do that for his sister. And I gave him Mienshao for that because, like, it's graceful and elegant. It doesn't really match with the rest of his team, but maybe it's his sister's Pokemon, you know? Soma just has, like, samurai type Pokemon, so I gave him a Samurott because it's literally a samurai. It has samurai in the name. Shiftry gives off like Japanese vibes, I guess. It's not really a samurai, but like Soma's a very like traditional Japanese person. You know, it's kind of his whole thing, so it fits. King Gambit it's a samurai. It is a samurai. Ceruledge and Aegislash because they're swords. Rapidash, I gave him a Rapidash because like he has a pet horse. It's a family horse, so he needs a horse. So I gave him Rapidash because I guess it's the most majestic one. He wouldn't really have a Mudsdale, would he? No, he wouldn't have a Mudsdale. It's not elegant enough. We're gonna skip Ibiki because he's in a similar situation to Trickstar in that I had absolutely no idea what to give him. I was completely stuck. So we're gonna move on to rabbits, and Tomoya just has normal types. Like, his whole thing is being, like, painfully average and normal, so why not? So, yeah, that's Ferret, Hoenn Linoon, Stoutland, and Double. He has a Dudunsparce, but specifically the triple segment one, because I think it would suit him in the fact that he thinks that his team is really average, and he wouldn't expect him to have the rarer form of Dudunsparce, so it fits. I gave him a Ditto because he needs a Pokemon that would just take the piss out of him, and Ditto would be that Pokemon. He's like that one Ditto in the anime that, like, it transforms, but every time it transforms into a different Pokemon, the face just turns out weird, and that would be Tommy as Ditto. He needs a foil kind of Pokemon, So there's that. Nazuna just has rabbits. Literally. So Lopunny, Diggersby, Cinderace, Azumarill, and Wigglytuff, they're all rabbits, so there's that. I know Mousehold aren't rabbits, they're mice, but they still suit him, so there's that. Hajime, I gave, like, soft fairy types, or Pokemon that are just known for being kind of gentle. So he's got a Clefable, he's got a Sylveon because he would have a Pokemon that evolves through friendship, so that's really cute. Also, Ordino is only a fairy type when it Mega evolves, but it suits him. Whimsicott also suits him, and as well as Alolan Ninetales. I was gonna give him an Espathra because they have the same hair, but, like, Espathra's kind of really aggressive, so it wouldn't suit Hajime at all. Pyukumuku, it's not a fairy type, but, like, look at it. I feel like Hajime would have one. I also kind of struggled with Mitsuru, but I decided to just, like, go with it. I gave him Pokemon that kind of give off speedy vibes, but I don't think all of them are that fast. Maybe they are. I gave him Dodrio, Pawmot, Sandslash, Tauros, and Kilowattrel because they just look fast. And I gave him Daxbun because it's a bread dog, and Mitsuru really likes bread. So there's that. We're going to move on because I have nothing else to say. Natsume has, like, witchy kind of Pokemon. I chose to make him specialise in psychic types because he's that type of guy. There are witches, really. Like, Hatterene and Miss Magius are literally witches. Sigilif just kind of suits him. Alakazam is a magician. Hypno hypnotises people. Like, it's a it's got one of them, like, hypnotism things. And Natsume can hypnotise people. Xatu, because it's the same shade of green as Switch. And also, it's a psychic bird. I feel like he'd just have it. I was originally going to give Xatu to Wataru, but I thought it suits Natsume more. Tsumugi was quite a fun one. So I gave him, like, more witchy Pokemon with, like, Delphox because it's a witch. And Noctowl is an owl, and I guess it's kind of witchy. Like, it's a familiar in Harry Potter. I've never read Harry Potter, but, like, owls are kind of studious, and Tsumugi was in charge of the library at one point. The thing with Delphox is that I originally wanted to give it to Natsume, but I didn't want to, like, substitute any of Natsume's other Pokemon because I thought they all suit him. So I gave Tsumugi Delphox. Tsumugi gives off the same vibes as James in that, like, he always gets physically assaulted by his Pokemon out of love. Like, James is always getting, like, beaten up. So I gave Tsumugi a Toxapex, which evolves from Marini, because James has a Marini, and also Marini kind of has the same hair as Tsumugi before Tsumugi got his trim. Maractus is just something I instinctually think that he has. Like, I don't know why. Bibarel looks really stupid, so it would be a really good comic relief Pokemon. Exploud would also be really funny because Tsumugi could catch it as a Whismur, which is, like, really cute, and it's basically silent, and then it evolves into this monstrosity, and, I think it fits. Sora has electric types, so Ampharos, Galvantula, Pincurchin, I don't know how to pronounce it, Pachirisu, and Jolteon. The thing is, he needs a psychic type because, like, I feel like Switch all have psychic types. So I gave him a Reuniclus. I don't know why. Moving on. Right, so let's move on to Knights, and Tsukasa has a lot of noble knight kind of Pokemon, so I gave him a Gallade. Aegislash, Corviknight, and Surfetch'd all, like, fit the same, like, knight vibe criteria, so I was like, why not? Also, Slurpuff and Alchemy, because Tsukasa really likes sweets, and also there's the whole thing with him scrapping with Tori over whose Slurpuff is cuter. So that's Tsukasa. As for Leo, I kind of had a few ideas for Leo. I wanted to give him Pokemon that are known for like music or sound, so hence the Kricketune and Rillaboom. But I also wanted to give him like space kind of Pokemon because he likes aliens. So I gave him a Minior because it's an asteroid or something, and Beheeyem because it's literally an alien. I gave him Chatot because it's got like a musical note on its head, and also it's a comic relief Pokemon. And I thought he just needs a fire type, so I gave him Pyro. Also because Leo means lion, and Pyro's a lion, so that's that. Izumi just gives off ice trainer vibes, so he needs like cool and elegant Pokemon. So Frostmoth, Glaceon, Dugong, Walrein, Frostlass, and Masquerain. Masquerain's not an ice type, but like it looks like one, and it just suits him. Maybe if Izumi ever goes to the Paldea region, he could terrestrialize his Masquerain into an ice type. Let's go to Arashi, and she also has some like diva Pokemon, but she has a lot of cats because she has a pet cat. So Delcatty, Lipard, and Perugly. Vivian and Ribbonby are also, they just kind of suit her because they're cute, but they're also very pretty. Bruxish. Bruxish is not cute. Bruxish is really ugly. But I feel like one person needs to have a Bruxish, like it's just one of those Pokemon. And I feel like Arashi would somehow see like the cuteness in Bruxish. I just think she'd have one. Let's move on to Ritsu. And I just gave Ritsu a bunch of Pokemon that are known for sleeping. So he's got a Slacking, a Snorlax, and a Mashana. I also wanted to give him ghost types because Ray specialises in dark types, and Ritsu would not want to specialise in the same type as Ray. So I feel like ghost types are the only like natural like alternative. So he's got Dusknoir, Cofagrigus, and Houndstone. And yeah, that's nice. Madara, I was kind of struggling, but I gave him a Camerupt because of that one comic where he's a volcanic bison. I think Camerupt is like meant to be a camel, but it doesn't really give off camel vibes to me. It does look, I don't know what it is. I mean, Numble is like a camel, but Camerupt doesn't look like one. So I gave him Buffalant and Taurus because they're kind of buffaloes. I mean, Taurus is more of a bull, but like, they're kind of the same thing, aren't they? Kangaskhan because it's a mother Pokemon and Madara is Mama. I also wanted to give him some like hefty ground types, so he's got a Mudsdale and a Donphan just for that reason. I'm skipping Esu because I know basically nothing about him other than the fact that he has a dead dad. So we're moving on to Fuyume, and Fuyume's team are just like fairy types, but like more specifically they give off fairy tale vibes. So I gave him a Galarian Rapidash because it's literally a unicorn. And so he's got Clefable, Togekiss, Sylveon, Gardevoir, and Whimsicott, and that's his team. Kana, I don't know why I decided to give him this team. I just recall him having something to do with robotics for some reason, so I gave him Steel types. I just realised that half of his team is basically Steven's team, which, like, I love Steven. He's, like, low-key my Pokemon crush alongside Wallace. Honestly, the Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, like, redesigns make a lot of the characters really kind of hot. Like, Archie had the biggest glow-up, I have to say. So, anyway, Kana's got Steelix, Klinklang, Magnezone, Metagross, Skarmory, and Aggron. And, yeah, that's it. Raikou, my son, he just has birds. Like, I just gave him all the regional birds because he's kind of got, like, a bird motif going on. So, yeah, he's got all, like, the birds you, like, encounter in the first routes, like Pidgeot, Swallow, Staraptor, Unpheasant, Male Unpheasant, Talonflame, and Toucanon. Yeah, that's basically it. I didn't do Jin and Akiyomi, fight me. So yeah, that's basically it. How long is this video? Let me just check my CapCut's recording. This video is, like, almost an hour long. I can't believe it's an hour long. Why is it an hour long? But anyway, I'm done. Please like and subscribe if you think this video is mediocre enough for you. Like, I think it's absolutely terrible, but I don't know, you might like it. So yeah, that's it. Bye.